and welcome to today's KMK video chat. I'm here with Michael Karbachinskiy, who is president and founder of KMK. Michael, thank you for being here today.
Yes, thank you for hosting, Rob.
Thanks. Michael, today's subject, we want to talk a little bit about what potentially is missing in pharma today. So you've been in the industry for more years than maybe you care to admit. And you've seen multiple cycles of evolution across the pharmaceutical industry. And there's a lot of changes going on right now. So I'd be interested from your perspective, because you have both the history as well as a pretty broad base of what you think are the most significant changes that are going on today.
Sure, Rob. Yeah, after 20 plus years in the industry, we're definitely seeing a shift towards technology as larger amounts of data becomes available. We're seeing a shift from away from primary research and data-driven decisions. I think we're seeing first signs of AI and various levels of machine learning or other automation and embedding various smart approaches, smart technologies into decision-making process, and especially making it available to sales reps, where often things that would have been done with significant labor expense in the headquarters now could be done via technology at higher speed and lower cost, and thus made available to a much wider audience. So I think that the technology-driven shift is pretty significant. Second thing, there is definitely a shift in therapeutic areas away from primary care towards oncology and rare disease, which in practical terms mean smaller field forces, significantly more calling on the accounts, significant need for collaboration across multiple stakeholders interacting with the different decision makers within those accounts. And so that drives changes in CRM and managing of the sales reps. And lastly, we're seeing a shift in decision-making power away from doctors, as a lot of practices being combined into various groups, purchased sometimes by IDNs, by hospitals, in certain cases by providers, and with its own formulary. So between a change in therapeutic classes and the change in business of providing healthcare, by healthcare being provided by more corporate entities rather than single practitioners or very small partnerships, I think combined with a lot more data being available at our fingertips, I think that that creates significant change.
Sure. So three things: intelligence and AI, second is complexity, and third is consolidation. So, and I want to touch on each one of those because I think they're all interesting areas. So if we talk about the interest in machine learning, is that a push? Is that being pushed into the industry, or are they demanding it? What do you think? What have you seen?
Well, yeah. I think we all want to have a robot that will do whatever we tell them to do.
Yes, we do. Especially my time card. Right.
So there is definitely a desire to make our life easier and automate certain tasks, which especially take time and resources. And at the same time, we're seeing, in consumer space, there is significantly a greater deal of adoption of new technologies than in B2B space, and especially pharma. But at the same time, we just have to be careful to make sure that we don't mix excitement of the new technology with practical applications of it. And I think that's ultimately when rubber meets the road. it takes time to sort out which applications really make sense and make a difference in our business, and which of them maybe are just latest trends that may not hold for very long.
Yeah, and I would also think that the proof is a bit in the pudding, right? You know, if you're going to put something out that is relying on decision making for people making or not making their numbers, that's a pretty big step.
Definitely, yeah. And but there is definitely a number of areas in pharma where artificial intelligence or machine learning is would be extremely helpful on both clinical and commercial sides. But it just takes time for technology to mature and to become fully useful.
Yeah. Do you have an example? What do you think's coming next?
Well, to me, the best current application of AI is on drug discovery side. When before you had to sort through various molecules in a lab, and that took a lot of time and labor. Right now, if computer can sort through various combinations and figure out whether they work or not, that's clear. That's a very clear-cut application of AI and machine learning, which I think would just shorten the time and cost of drug discovery.
Sure.
We believe that when sales organization, whether inside in headquarters or in the field, looking for certain data elements and systems able to find the patterns of what people typically look at and make it easier for them to pull that data or make it available to them ahead of time. I think those things would be really interesting application of AI, and also just connecting the dots, because right now a lot of data elements or reports are siloed, and right now people have to piece it all together. So kind of seeing a greater degree of automation and just making it easier to connect the dots, I think would be a great places where it could be applied.
Sure. Interesting. I want to shift over to complexity, because you had mentioned that as well, and how the selling model of pharma, particularly on if it's like oncology or rare disease in particular, it's pretty complex. So what do you think in those models is missing from the current standpoint, what they have available?
And one of the big things we see missing is that historically, as sales, especially in organizations with multiple sales forces, I think it's a coordination between multiple sales reps or other participants of the process of interaction. When pharma interacts with large accounts, there is often, you have doctors, you have administrators, you have people in charge of formulary. You also may have certain clinical investigators or trials going on, and coordination between various players from pharma company interacting with various stakeholders and accounts. So right now we're seeing that the way CRMs are set up, they siloed for each of those groups, and there is a little coordination in terms of for each participant know what others are doing, having data available across the board, and having goals and tactics and strategy fully coordinated. I believe that's one of the big missing pieces in the selling model, which largely switched to account-based selling.
So yeah, that's I think the key here, right, is what feels like is missing, at least from what you're saying, is the historical processes, technology, and everything that's in place is for individual-based selling and not necessarily account-based. And there's tremendous opportunity for companies to take advantage of the emerging that's coming across, I would think.
Right. Another thing is a full coordination between digital effort and personal selling, because we're also seeing that often those things are not fully coordinated, and reps in the field may not be aware of all the digital touch points that their customers experiencing from the company, and not often able to fully integrate them into their sales efforts.
Right, right. Well, let's move on to the last part there that you were talking about. So where do you think that third piece is going?
Well, I believe that ultimately when you have those various marketing programs are running, and you might have a sample distribution, and you may have various company representatives touching account on different points, is just having all this effort coordinated, optimized, and quite frankly, just making everybody aware what other parts of the company are doing, especially in a large corporation, is quite a challenging task.
Right.
And I think those organizations who are able to do a better job at it would have better results.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Well, great. I think we covered a lot here today. If you want to hear further on KMK, please reach out to us. We have a lot of experience both on the individual as well as the account-based selling models, and we'd love to share some of our thoughts and ideas of our approach. This is an area of particular interest. I know that Michael has personal investments in this area, and we would love to share more about that. So Michael, thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you, Rob.
Yep, and we look forward to the next session. Thank you. Okay.
All right.
That went well. The third one is the reshaping the industry with COVID. So do you need a break or are you ready?
No, we can go. Just sip of water.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, Rob Stewart here with KMK, and today's KMK video chat. I'm here with Michael Karbachinskiy, who is president and founder of KMK Consulting. Michael, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for hosting, Rob.
Michael, today I wanted to touch upon the COVID situation and how this is impacting and potentially reshaping the industry. You know, we're in it for a year now, and I think we're in it for a little bit longer. That kind of dramatic change in infrastructure can be very influential in potentially permanently changing how businesses will react and so forth. So, you know, and the show must go on, particularly in this industry. So I'd be interested to start out by hearing what you think the biggest influence COVID has had on the pharmaceutical industry.
Sure. So I think there were changes that happened both on the inside and outside of the pharma companies. So on the inside, with a switch to remote working, I believe that talent became scattered around the country and around the globe. And I believe that change is here to stay, that we're going to see a hybrid work model with some people working from office and some people permanently working remotely.
That's our case, right?
That's our case, yes. And
Yeah.
I think that that would enable for people to live where they like to live and have the job they like to have at the same time, which was often impossible before. Right. With customers. So the interesting thing is that Digital has been around for a number of years now, and in consumer space, it's very successful. A lot of companies sell online only, Amazon being prime suspect, without much physical presence, and been exceptionally successful at it. However, what we've seen in pharma is that significant switch of resources towards digital and away from personal so far haven't worked. And COVID was probably the biggest experiment to see whether it could be done fully remotely. And I think in certain situations it was successful, especially in cases where doctors or healthcare providers really needed input or help or information from pharma companies, and would reach out or give them time to talk to them. But at the same time, I believe that personal promotion is still significantly more powerful than digital in for number of areas, a number of products. And we've seen that with our customers, that they largely kept their sales forces, even so sometimes they've been reshaped and right-sized and so forth, but people kept their field forces. And I believe the general mood is that once vaccine is out and things open up, whoever got the right size, rightly positioned field force will win at the end of the day. Right. So as much as certain things change, at least for now, certain things are staying the same. And it takes just a little bit more time to fully analyze and see how this mix of how digital does versus personal promotion. But I do believe that digital promotion will increase and will be refined, but will not companies will not completely do away with the personal component of the promotion, and it would still be a significant part of the spend.
I know it's almost like it's like the biggest AV marketing test that was ever performed, right? But I think you touched, and this doesn't pertain specifically to the pharma industry. I think it happens to across a lot of industry, but the nature of the workforce and how the workforce has changed both in where they work, as well as the kind of methods that you bring a workforce to bear, right? Given that KMK is in the model of providing consulting resources, that is something that we have also seen as influential as well. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. And I think so. First of all, with our organization being spread across New York, New Jersey area and Boston area, and as well as China and India offices, actually virtual working allowed us to bring people together. Everybody on the same level playing field now. So now people didn't have to drive to Boston or back to New Jersey to attend an event or fly across the globe from Asia to US. So we actually could bring everybody on a 2-hour Zoom call, and it definitely, in some sense, I think united people. And I see that will continue. We're also seeing some of our employers moving towards places where they like to live, whether it's warmer places or mountains, and it's probably here to stay. So as long as productivity is there, that should be fine. With our clients, I think it depends on the management style, because we definitely, some of the clients we're talking to, we're going to work remotely for now, but the moment things open up, we really want to see people in the office, and that's fine. We definitely want to meet our clients where they're at, and some clients are really okay with continuous remote working as long as they get results that they're looking for. So from our standpoint as a company, we really want to be flexible with both employers and customers, because our goal at the end of the day is to find that right balance, that our people feel happy and fulfilled, and our customer needs are met. And so far, we've been able to strike it for the last 20 years.
Yep. Yeah. Good. On a related note, so I know that at least I've seen in the soldering role that I play that there's been a resistance to bring on FTEs within clients, and just from KMK's perspective, we see this by being able to provide more contractual staffing folks and folks that they're not necessarily on site, but they are participating as an addition to their staff, but in much where they take away some of the FTE risk that can naturally be associated with when you start to grow your own team organically. You think that's going to continue? What are your thoughts on
that? We've generally seen a trend where, like during any recession or kind of big events that's happening in the world, that companies might want to go to staff augmentation and freeze hiring. And for companies like us, which often serve as a functional service provider, that definitely gave us an opportunity to help our customers bring in the right talent at the right time without taking a risk of taking on full-time employees. And we were very fortunate to have close to 200 people staff in various, with knowledge in various areas of commercial operations, and really enable our clients to succeed even in those sometimes challenging times.
Right, right. And it kind of leads to a little bit more of a general question. Once COVID, because the vaccine's out now and everyone's excited that it's all going to end soon. Do you see us going back to normal? And you kind of alluded to some of that when you're saying, okay, when we go to go back to personalized promotion, or do you think there is a new normal that's starting to form here that might be, a bit of a hybrid?
Sure, I believe it depends on a client, but there's going to be a little bit of both. But also, I think with some of our clients, they've discovered that using staff augmentation or functional service providers is actually very efficient. And especially we have some, not all of our clients have their own offshore operation, and we do in both India and China. And so they found that having a company that provides high quality service responsive to their needs and good value overall, it actually gives them a lot more flexibility and also enables them to do a lot more with the same budget.
Yeah, yeah. No, I see that. That's a good value that I think that the pharma industry is starting to embrace in general, is that they can have a little bit less of a traditional, let's bring all the people in, but they build a team around the capability, the core expertise that they can then supplant with their own folks. All right. Well, Michael, I think that's a good place to stop. I appreciate you coming on to explore a little bit about how COVID is changing the industry. If anybody would be interested in speaking us in any of the specifics of what we're talking about, we'd be glad to entertain the discussion. And with that, I will thank Michael for joining me today.
Yes, thank you, Rob.
Yep. And I wish everyone a pleasant afternoon. Thank you.